Deep in the heart of Japan, there are spooky whispers of an old practice. Imagine a time long ago when food and resources were scarce and life was very hard. This is where the stories of Ubasute come from. Ubasute means leaving grandma on the mountain, and it makes us think of old people being carried to faraway mountains and left there to die. But is this a true story or just a scary folktale? Let's explore the mystery of Ubasute and find out the truth behind this haunting tradition. People believe Ubasute started in ancient Japan, a time of great hardship. During this period, the country faced numerous challenges, including famine, natural disasters, and social unrest. It was hard to survive, and taking care of elderly people, especially those who couldn't work, was a big problem for families. Resources were scarce, and every member of the family had to contribute to ensure their survival. The story goes that families would take their old relatives to lonely mountains or forests, leaving them with very little food and water. This act, though heartbreaking, was seen as a way to reduce the burden on the family. This seems very cruel, but some people saw it as a necessary sacrifice so that the younger people could live. The emotional toll on the families was immense, but they believed it was the only way to ensure the survival of the next generation. The mountains, often covered in fog and mystery, became a symbol of this practice. These remote and desolate places were chosen for their isolation, making it difficult for the elderly to return. Even Mount Fuji, Japan's most famous mountain, has legends about Ubasute, making this historical mystery even more interesting. These stories have been passed down through generations, adding to the rich tapestry of Japanese folklore. Ubasute is a famous folktale in Japan, but there isn't much real historical proof that it happened a lot. The story tells of elderly people being left on mountains to die, a practice supposedly done during times of famine or hardship. There's no actual evidence that Ubasute was a common thing. Historical records from the period are sparse and often incomplete, making it difficult to verify such practices. Some experts think it might have happened sometimes in faraway villages when there wasn't enough food. These remote areas, isolated from the rest of society, might have resorted to extreme measures during desperate times. Others think it was more of a symbolic ritual, a way to deal with the problems of having a lot of older people. This interpretation suggests that the story served as a cautionary tale or a moral lesson rather than a historical account. Old writings and stories hint at Ubasute, but these stories are often incomplete and can be understood in different ways. The lack of concrete evidence leaves much room for interpretation and speculation. Because we don't have all the answers, people still debate whether Ubasute really happened often or was just a scary story. The mystery surrounding Ubasute continues to intrigue historians and folklorists alike, keeping the legend alive in modern discussions. Even if Ubasute didn't really happen often, it still makes us think about what's right and wrong. Leaving your elderly parents behind goes against our ideas of family, respect, and caring for each other. Today, with better health care and help for older people, Ubasute seems terrible. But it's important not to judge people in the past by today's standards. To understand Ubasute, we need to think about what life was like in ancient Japan, where survival was more important than feelings. This doesn't make it okay, but it helps us understand this sad part of history with empathy. Ubasute still inspires artists and storytellers today. This ancient practice, though controversial and often shrouded in mystery, continues to be a poignant subject in various forms of art and media. It reminds us that life is precious and that people are complicated. The stories surrounding Ubasute often delve deep into the human psyche, exploring themes of duty, love, and sacrifice. From old books to modern movies, Ubasute has been explored in many ways, each medium offering a unique perspective on this haunting tradition. Whether through the written word or visual storytelling, the essence of Ubasute remains impactful, each giving a different view of this haunting tradition. Traditional Japanese storytelling often portrays it with a sense of reverence, while contemporary theater might highlight the ethical dilemmas it presents. These stories often show the emotional pain of both the abandoned elders and the families who had to make a terrible choice. The emotional weight carried by these narratives is immense, shedding light on the human condition and the families who had to make a terrible choice. The conflict and distress experienced by both parties are palpable, making these stories deeply moving and thought-provoking. Through these stories, we learn more about what it means to be human and the struggles with life, death, and family. They teach us about resilience, love, and the complexities of human relationships, and the struggles with life, death, and family. The empty chair at a family dinner or a solemn funeral ceremony are powerful symbols of loss and remembrance. In the end, Ubasute, whether real or just a story, is still important in Japan. It serves as a cultural touchstone, reminding us of the past while prompting us to reflect on our present and future. It reminds us of the hardships people faced long ago, and the resilience they showed in the face of adversity. These historical narratives are a testament to the strength and endurance of the human spirit, and how traditions, ethics, and values change over time. As society evolves, so do our perceptions of right and wrong, and Ubasute serves as a lens through which we can examine these shifts. As we face the challenges of an aging population in our modern world, the lessons from Ubasute become increasingly relevant. The care and respect we show our elders reflect our collective humanity. The story of Ubasute teaches us about compassion, empathy, and the importance of taking care of our elders. It encourages us to build a society where the elderly are valued and supported, and the importance of taking care of our elders. In doing so, we honor their contributions and ensure that they live their later years with dignity and love.